Welcome back, everybody. I'm sure anybody who subscribed to me is well aware of my ongoing battles with PCGS. Those are not 100% resolved yet, 2 months after the big issue happened. However, they're getting there. I am absolutely done with PCGS. I still have some things I have to do there. I still have some of my free membership submissions that I have to do. But as far as using them as a serious coin grading company, I'm done. No way. They are absolutely horrible when it comes to customer service. And it's not just me. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have had a lot of bad experiences after my last hour-long rant video that absolutely blew up. I did not expect that at all. If you haven't seen it, go to there and watch it. I will have probably one or two more videos on this entire endeavor that I've had to go through. I don't intend to make this one a long rant. This is going to be more just going over a few of the issues that they would not take back. I'm also going to talk about using ANACS because as of right now, they are my preferred service. So let's start with the PCGS holdered ones. In my previous video, you may have seen I complained about this one. I am pretty sure that it's got full steps. It's not the end of the world, a lot of these, if they don't get what I think they're gonna get. However, I'm sending them to ANACS because I want to see what ANACS has to say. I have had one submission completed with ANACS, and I am absolutely thrilled with it so far. I haven't even received it back, but they had it for about a week and they finished it. I mean, I waited. I am still waiting on my last submission I did with PCGS. I've been waiting 4 months now on 9 coins to be restored and sent back. Like, what the heck? If ANACS does not call this full steps, I think I know why. The bottom step is just slightly there. It's there, but you kind of got to look at it at the right angle. So if they do label it full steps, then I'm going to say PCGS just did not take the time to really look at it. This should be full steps. It's hard to see. I'll put up the true view that I got with it. That's the one thing I'm gonna not enjoy so much, and I may start doing it with ANACS, but I have not been doing their viewing, their photography, even though it's cheaper. But I may begin to later on. I want to do a few submissions with them first and see how I like them, but so far I'm absolutely thrilled with them. Easier to submit, cheaper prices, better specials, faster turnaround time. Overall, at this point, I'm very pleased with ANACS. So anyway, that's what I'm shooting for on this one. Full steps. Let's see what ANACS has to say. The rest of these are all Morgans that I sent to PCGS. And as you can see, I've got details on 3 of them. One of them, I do agree, was cleaned. However, what I wanted with all these was varieties. And I don't have it written down what all the varieties are that I'm looking for, and I'm not gonna dig into them again. But at any rate, you can see this one not labeled. You can see all of them were not labeled for varieties. This one, I do agree. You can see pretty obviously that it was cleaned aggressively. However, it does have a variety, and they will label them with the variety. I've gotten it in the past where they deemed it cleaned, but they still gave me the variety. So they probably thought it was clean and just totally overlooked the variety and just passed it off. This one may appear cleaned at first, but when you really get into it, you can see lines here, but they don't transfer onto the devices. They're in the fields only. And that to me says polishing marks. And another thing to look for on a clean coin, like this last one, is when you get up into the letters, you can even kind of see here that the scratches, the lines, kind of get up to the edge of the letter, and then they don't go down next to it. So that shows that something was used to rub on it, and it you know, they didn't get it down right next to the edge, which is extremely hard to do. But this one is obviously cleaned. This one, however, if you look at the lines, like look at the lines there, they look like cleaning lines, but they're polishing marks, and they go right up to the edge of the lettering. So this one, I do not believe is cleaned, and it doesn't go through the devices. It just looks like it's cleaned in the fields, but it's not scratched through. It's those should be polishing marks for the dies, die polishing marks, and I'm hoping ANACS agrees with me. And I'm also looking for a variety on this one as well, which I don't recall what it is, but all of them, I was looking for variety. This one is just, I don't know what the heck they were thinking. I have a feeling some amateur that, as I said in my old video, I really believe it was some noob that they hired who was not really used to this stuff. I mean, honestly, when I was newer to it, and I'm by no means a professional, but when I was newer to it, I would have seen those lines and thought that it was cleaned as well. So what actually got me starting to look at it more was because I sent one in a while back that I thought was cleaned, and they said it wasn't cleaned. It actually came back a very nicely graded coin, worth several $100s. So I just feel it was an amateur that looked at my coins. They see some lines and they're like, oh, that was definitely clean. So, and no variety as well that I was looking for. And then this one, they didn't call it cleaned. However, they did not give me the variety. Not to say that it's completely wrong. So one thing I discovered in arguing with them, which they do not make very clear, is that I use the app most of the time. And you go to the app, Coin Facts, and you scroll through and it shows all these varieties for the Morgans, especially Morgans. And all kinds of varieties, all kinds of numbers, they have them listed. I would assume if they have a variety listed that those are the varieties that they acknowledge. Apparently not. They told me that just because it's listed doesn't mean they acknowledge the variety. Basically, PCGS only acknowledges the top varieties, like the top 100, the hot 50, hit list 40. Pretty much those three. If it's not one of those, they don't acknowledge it. So some of this is that. I don't remember which varieties I was looking for on these, and I don't want to dig it all up for this, but I'll send them to ANACS, and I'll do a video when they come back, which hopefully will be just in a few weeks because ANACS has great turnaround times. But if it's one of the top varieties that I end up getting from ANACS and PCGS didn't recognize one of the top varieties, or they didn't label it, then that proves even further that they're just a bunch of lazy assholes. Pardon my French. That was basically my conclusion, is that PCGS just has a bunch of noobs that they hired. And beyond that as well, I noticed when I called them, I would have about 8 people in front of me, 8 to 12 on average. And I called them many times, not complaining, just questioning things over the last year. They would usually have 8 to 12 people in the queue, and they'd get back to me within usually an hour. After this happened, I called them up and to complain or to ask to talk to a manager is what I did. In the queue, there was 92 people waiting, and it took them something like 6 hours to get back to me. So that tells me it's not just me. They're having lots of problems. And the video I posted before is also showing me that they have lots of problems. I've had a lot of their customers comment on that video saying that they've had all kinds of problems lately with PCGS. So I still have to hold the same conclusion that they hired a bunch of people and didn't train them properly and just pushed my orders through. Furthermore, why did they take 4 months of my orders, push them all through to me super fast, and then turn around and my last order that got to them in February is still 9 coins for a restoration. That's it, 9 coins. It's just sitting there and sitting there and sitting there, not doing anything. So anyway, guys, sorry to rant again, but it's a much shorter rant, and I've got a lot of emails I need to go through and do some voiceover for. So I'm going to show you the things that they said to me. So they agreed to take back like the main ones, but what they ended up doing that really pisses me off even more is about, say, something like 6 or 7 emails into it, the guy agreed to take back 2 of my Kennedys. And then he turns around later and just says, no, we're not going to take them back. You labeled them wrong. I was like, what the? I labeled them exactly like I always labeled my stuff and labeled everything else. But they said, nope, you labeled it wrong. We're not going to do it. You can pay us again and we'll look at it again for you. Which that just stings me. Screw you guys. I'm sending it to ANACS. So anyway, if you want to know what the final conclusion is going to be with all this, please subscribe. And hopefully here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'll be able to get you a solid, well, honestly, it won't be conclusion. I'll get you another video out here going through the emails, improving to you the things that I'm talking about, not just rattling off a bunch of gibberish. But when they finally send me back my final grades on the coins that they did agree to take back, then I'll do another video and see if, if they came to a different conclusion after looking at them, hopefully closer, hopefully the same moron who did it before isn't there still. But yeah, they definitely have a lot of problems right now, and we'll see what happens with that. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one.